Yo, welcome back. And if you're new, I'm Kim. Today we'll be talking about a mid-year book freakout tag. Yes, the mid-year book freakout tag. But it's not really a freakout, at least for me. I think that's just the title. I'm not really freaking out if I get to these books or not. I'm pretty sure I'll just, push it to the next year. There's no rush to finish these. But yeah, that's what we're doing today. I first got inspiration to do it by watching Gavin Reads. I'll link their channel down below. And then after that, I watched a couple other YouTubers I follow for it. And I think it's actually pretty fun. At first, I didn't really want to do it or care for myself to be filming one, but I think because this is like my journey that I am recording and posting on YouTube for like my reading style, I think it's pretty nice to go back and rewatch those videos in the future. I think it would be cool to see how far I've gone from January to now June. Or the end of June, I'm sorry. This will be posted by the end of June. So let's get into it. The first question, I have my notes, so let me pull them up. First question, how has your reading year gone so far? So for me personally, my goal, I'm not too hard on my goals because I just want to enjoy reading and just have fun. I found reading at a good time for myself in my life, and so it was the beginning of this year actually. My personal goal was 12 books. Okay, 12 books, purely because I don't normally read novels. I mainly read manga. Ever since I was small, I always read manga. And the only novels I've ever read was if it was school required, like my last English class or whatnot, right? Like books I had to for a grade. Book reading for fun, right? Is still very new to me. And so my personal goal is 12. I'm happy to say, as of right now, filming, I finished 23 books. So I've already surpassed my personal goal of just 12 books. And I just want to keep going. I don't really have a number, a hardcore number of let's up it next year kind of thing. I think in general, I just want to continuously keep reading throughout the years and just make it into a habit. And the fact that it's already been 6 months, kind of happy to say it's part of a habit. I get an itch to read if it hasn't. I think there's 1 week that I haven't read for 4 days, and I felt like a hole. I felt like a hole in my heart, like I'm missing something, right? So yeah, I think in general how my reading year has gone so far, it's pretty good. I've also had a lot of solid 3 stars and 5 stars. I found my 5 stars and a lot of 4 stars. So maybe not a lot of 4 stars actually. I've been struggling for the 4 stars, but the fact that I even have 5 stars in my pile, it's exciting. I'm happy. And I barely touched the surface on a lot of books that I own as a personal TBR, let alone the greatest of greats out there in the world, because there's just so many books. But yeah, going off on the tangent on question number 1 already, but moving on to the next question. Question number 2. What is the best book you've read so far in 2025? The best book so far. This might be a typical answer for a lot of y'all, but remember, this is out of my tiny little collection of 23 books that I read. Not all the books in the world. So it would be The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. I know, I'm sorry. This might be a typical answer for a lot of people. If this is your first time on my channel or to this video, I'm more my bread and butter is epic fantasy, high fantasy, sci-fi, stuff like that. But I am dipping my toes into other genres that I'm really loving, and you're gonna see based on my piles. Let me not get ahead of myself, but you will see I'm dipping into other genres. This is still my favorite. I think it's just because of the pure exploration. I'm a sucker for adventure. I'm a sucker for found family. I'm a sucker for dragons, especially. Love magic. And I don't even think there's any romance in this book, which is not a plus or a pro or a con, really. It's just, you would think it would have everything, but it didn't have romance. Or I think for me, I think I said this in a video when I first talked about this. It would just be the love of adventure. I don't know if that counts. It probably doesn't count. Yeah. The Hobbit. It just made me feel so much joy and happiness and it was a perfect book for me to escape. If you were to read books to escape. Yeah. That's all I'll talk about The Hobbit. Alright. Next question. What is the best book you've reread so far in 2025? So I don't really reread, if we're talking about novels strictly, none. I mean, I actually kind of reread the books when I go back and annotate. So sometimes I listen to the audio for audiobooks at separate times. And if I'm not having the physical on hand, I actually kind of go back and annotate or reread some parts that I wanted to keep note. So it kind of feels like I'm already rereading the book even though I'm in the middle of it. But normally I haven't reread any of these. I know The Hobbit was something I told myself I'm going to reread every year just because it feels so good. Like to start the year off with just a beautiful story to me for now. But if we're speaking about manga, this year I actually reread Blue Exorcist. Mainly because the second season, the anime, the second season for it came out recently. I actually reread manga more often, or more likely to reread manga versus rereading novels. But again, I'm extremely new. I'm still very new to reading like these books, this many pages without any not any, but some have illustrations, but the main chunk of it is just words. Still very new to me, so I'm getting into it, right? Like there's novels I'll probably want to reread, but as of right now, none. Okay, next question. What is the best sequel you've read so far in 2025? This one's easy. And it's going to be the Bloodmarked Book 2 in the Legendborn Cycle by Tracy Deonn. Easy. This is the book. I mean, I know this might be a hot take. I know this is not everyone's favorite based on reviews I've skimmed. But this book single-handedly made me a Cell fan. This book made me realize this is why people read, or this is why people have their favorite characters and they go crazy for their favorite characters. It also opened my eyes to romance in a way that I thought I wouldn't like. It didn't even have too much crazy romance, but still, I was like, oh, is this why I'll read romance? Maybe I can actually dip my toes in other romance books that I've kind of been avoiding, or I know I don't want to read because I won't like it as much as another person would. But no, this is the book that did it for me, okay? For many other reasons. Maybe it wasn't just the story alone, but it opened my eyes to other things. Yeah, book 2. And then another one I will bring up would be A Prayer for the Crown Shy by Becky Chambers. Yeah. I feel like this is another hot take, but I honestly remember my feelings. It's very small. It's a very small novella. I remember my feelings for this one, and I actually enjoyed this way more than book 1. Book 1 is really good. Everyone loves book 1, and I feel like you don't need to read book 2 in order to enjoy the full thing. But I just remember, this is a while ago, so I don't remember exactly the details. I'm sorry. But there's 2 characters, Mosscap the robot and Dex, our main character, and I just love their conversations and their banter and the deep questions they ask each other in the second book. Because in the first book, they're getting along, that's their first meeting, and this is heavy on the dialogue, by the way. It's just purely dialogue. In book 2, it's like, okay, we're friends now in book 1. Book 2 is just like, what next? Where do we go from here? The biggest question, right, for their predicament. I don't even know if it's a predicament, really, but it's just the journey of so what are we? What are we friends? I'm not. It's more questions like that. What it means to be human, kind of theme. But I personally loved book 2, the sequel. So, yeah. Those are my choices. Next question. What is a new release you haven't read yet, but want to? So I actually don't own the physical copy to this one. I was looking at my catalog that I personally own on my TBR that is a new release. I don't really follow new releases as closely as much as other people. I don't know, maybe because I'm new. There's, in my mind, there had to be more really great books I've missed in the past decade. So a lot of books I own actually are books that came out the last year or 2 years ago, actually, and some are even older than that. There is one I want to get, and it's mainly because I'm debating on the edition I want. depending if I want the US edition or if I want the UK edition. I might want the UK, but I already saw it too. Anyway, not to hold you up too long, but it's called The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim. It's horror, I believe. I mean, based on the title, I'm pretty sure it's horror. I didn't want to read too much into it in the synopsis because I want to be surprised. But yeah, that's the one. It's a new release. I think actually it got published in 2024 of June. I could be wrong, but I've seen it here in store, or at least at the bookstores just this year in like new books. So I don't know. It was published in 2024, but I'm gonna count it as a new release that I want to read because I've seen the other new releases and I'm not that crazy about them in comparison to The Eyes Are the Best Part. Okay, the next question. What is your most anticipated book for the second half of the year? Okay, this might be a little bit more of like a typical answer, but hey, I want to read the things that people are hyping up, that I'm interested in, and that I already have the copies for as well. And they keep staring me in the face, asking me to read them over and over. And I'm talking about the books talking to me, okay? There's no way I'm the only one who thinks their books aren't talking to them. So these are like screaming at me in my like collection, like, hey, read me soon. One of them is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, that whole series. The last book, I believe it's the last book that came out this year, so it's at a close. I'm going to read this one. I really want to, and I want to rewatch the movies. I haven't seen all the movies. I think I've only seen the first one. What a time, though. What a time. Then the next one on the list is Jade City, the Greenbone Saga, the whole saga, by Fonda Lee. Beautiful. I think it's because of the edition I got that's making me scream, please read me, please read me. But I've heard really great things, so I really want to get into this one. And then, of course, the last book that most anticipated read is the standalone The Sword of Kaigen by Emma Wong. I know, I'm showing you the editions that I own. Don't judge me. If I'm gonna spend money on a book, I want it to be the book I want. Or the shit I want. But yeah, The Sword of Kaigen. Those are my most anticipated reads. I hope I get to them this year. I think I will prioritize them to get to them. So, ooh. My least favorite question to answer. What is the worst book you've read so far in 2025? Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I'm sorry, it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. I know that now, but I think the next question, I'll explain it a little bit more because there's really only one book. Actually, there's two books, but that would probably still be my number one for the year. The next question is, what is your biggest disappointment of the year so far? All right, hear me out. I will answer this first. It is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Hear me out. I don't want to like apologize too much or whatnot. I'll just say why I still enjoyed for what it was. But the reason why it was such a disappointment was because before reading any of these books, before even reading in general, I was still very new to BookTube. I don't know how, okay? I didn't really look at books too much on my this was on Instagram. I'm only talking about Instagram. So I don't know how this book came onto my For You page. I think because it was just being blown up and maybe I clicked a picture of a book somehow, it got onto my For You page. So it was actually all over my feed. And the more I looked into it, I was like, you know what? Maybe it's a good time to start reading. So many people hyped about it. I didn't even look too much into it. I didn't know what Goodreads was. I didn't know any of these things, okay? Like, none of these things related to books or the book culture online or on BookTube. So I took a chance. I actually just listened to the audio because I didn't want to commit to buying. I don't even buy manga, okay? I normally buy the subscription online and read manga. I don't want the physical copy because I'm a collector, so there's no way I have room for all that manga. So I bought the audio. And wow, yeah. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't read the synopsis. I just know it was a popular book. I like to go things blind. And that was it, I thought it was going to be something I would also enjoy. I was kind of disappointed, like, dang, how did all these people like enjoyed it and I didn't enjoy it? I truly was fighting like against myself to realize I'm clearly missing something. Like, why am I not liking something that everyone, or at least on my page, on my feed, keeps raving about? So I was very confused, and that's why the disappointment came in. And then it kind of made me realize more like, oh, so this is what happens when, or not what happens, but if it's on your feed, when books are trending or things that you don't even know what you like. Ever since then, I kind of knew, because of that book though, I knew what kind of things I like in a book, or I know what kind of writing I like. That's the first time I believe that's like first person, right? And that's the first I've read in first person that I remember. Maybe I've read first person books in school, but I completely forgot all those books. So, yeah. It made me, it's not like I don't like first person. I do. It's just made me like new to the whole experience, right? Yeah, it just opened my eyes to what kind of reader I am and what I like. So I'll always think that book specifically being the reason where I am now, actually. Yeah. So as much as it was a big disappointment in terms of like, I didn't enjoy the storytelling, I'm actually very grateful that it opened me to the world of books. So that's all I can say. Okay, next question. What is the biggest surprise of the year? I took this more as biggest surprise in books I've read that I ended up liking a lot. So the first one, because this was earlier in my reading year, The Library at Mount Char by Scott Hawkins. Y'all, I already did a review on this, so I'm not going to go into depth. I'm just going to tell you in terms of like, these are books, this pile that I'm about to show you are books that have stayed in my mind that I can't get out. For good, for better, for worse, I'm not sure. Because of how weird they are and how crazy the writing is. Crazy in like a very hooking way. Only two, not all of them, are like this, of the books I have. But these are the ones that give me the biggest surprise. I never expected that type of story to come out of a couple pages. You know what I mean? The Library at Mount Char is one of them. Huge trigger warnings. Actually, yeah, huge trigger warnings for this one if you do decide to read it. And also, if you do decide after reading those trigger warnings, go into it very blind. It is a little bit confusing in the beginning, but the more you read on, the more you'll get it, hopefully. And once you get it, it's a blast. It's a blast in terms of like the ride you're about to go on. Okay. And also an ending that I was really satisfied with. Because honestly, how do you end a crazy book? I don't know. They did it just fine. Tender is the Flesh by Agustina Bastarrica. Dystopian. Dystopian is my heart. This one is a very messed up book as well. Also read your trigger warnings, heavily on the trigger warnings for this. Maybe actually more than the Library at Mount Char, but Library at Mount Char in comparison actually has a lot of violence. So, and actually both have a lot of violence. I'm not sure what that tells you as me as a reader, but I think in terms of the question, what's a bigger surprise, these books got my jaw dropped. Okay, like these are books I wanted to talk about with my friends. These are books that I told my friends to read so we can talk about them. That I know who could handle these stories. Yeah, these are the ones. And the last one, to my surprise, was Oathbound, book 3 in the Legendborn cycle, only because of the pacing of the story and the fact that I took a break from it. And it wasn't until halfway where it picked up, and the amount of emotions I felt towards the second half just shook me. And also made me angry at myself for not continue reading it in a short period of time. I don't know, maybe the break was a good thing, but I think I would truly enjoyed it if I just pushed on the slow parts. And I wasn't even that mad about the slow parts. It's just, it took me a month to finish this book, when the last half of the book only took me 2 days. Yeah, it only took me 2 days. Once it got good, I didn't want to put it down. So yeah, those were my biggest surprises of the year for books. Next question. Who is your favorite new author? New to you or debut? So all of them are new. I have no knowledge of any of these authors unless they've made manga in the past. Yeah, no, all these are new. But if we're singling down to new to me, that is my favorite. It would be Tracy Deonn. Hands down, y'all. Hands down. And Becky Chambers, actually, now that I brought the book out, that was also my favorite author. So those two, Becky Chambers and Tracy Deonn. As of right now, for the little amount of books I've read, those are my two favorite authors. What book has made you cry so far this year? I cry in all the books. I cry all the time. It's easy to get me sad and cry during these sad parts or very emotional parts in a book. But this is a lot like of repeating of the same books I've talked about, but they're one of my favorites for a reason. So they're going to be repeated for these questions that are talking about favorites and, things you think highly of. I'm going to bring it back, y'all. Try not to spoil anything about it, but Oathbound, book 3. And it wasn't even sad crying. It was happy. It was happy tears. For those who cry while reading books, how often do you cry out of happiness? Okay, I feel like it's harder, at least for me personally, to be like boohoo tearing up because I'm happy for whoever characters in the book versus like being sad for them. I don't know, and that's hard to do. Very hard to do. If anything, I was shocked in the moment, wiping and like blowing my nose in the middle of the night. I remember the time specifically because I was like, this is crazy, Kim, go to bed. What are you doing? Like reaching over my partner, grabbing tissues because the tissues is past him. So I was just like, I don't know. I'm a sucker for certain themes. I don't even want to say the themes because it's going to ruin it. It's going to be a huge spoiler for you if I tell you what theme or trope that made me like boohoo cry, but they did it really well. And yeah, it would be book 3 of Bound. Towards the end if you're very specific. So, not even, Part 2, or not part 2, I'm sorry, because there's 4 acts. The last 2 acts. There you go. And next question. What is the most beautiful book you bought this year? It would be the Poppy War trilogy by R.F. Kuang. And the main reason why I don't have it right now is because it didn't ship yet. I bought the Lit Joy crate. Is that what I forgot. I'll put it up though, the image of what the books look like. Those are gorgeous. I can't wait to get them in person. But if we're talking about the next best thing that I own, that's the most beautiful book I've gotten that I found on sale at my local bookstore that someone gave up for whatever reason. I already showed it to y'all. But The Sword of Kaigen. Let me just... Y'all, I don't know why they gave it up. I don't know why. Yeah, hopefully that showed you, but that's the most beautiful one I own. I think it's like the rainbow color kind of vibe screaming to me, but what I have on deck right now, that takes number 1 spot. Ooh, this is my favorite question. What are the books you need to read by the end of the year? Okay, I'm going to do this rapid fire style. So I'm going to show you the book. This is all based on my personal TBR. That I already own. I'll show you the book. I'll say the title and I'll say the author. This is no particular order. I kind of tried to organize it based on genre, but it's not perfect and it doesn't even matter. Hey, let's get ready. The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axio. The Buried Giant by Kazu Ishiguro. A Memory Called Empire by Arkady Martin. The Paper Meringue and Other Stories by Ken Liu. Angie Kills a King by Evan Lee Gem. I think I'm saying that wrong. The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simone Jimenez. Arsenic and Adobo by Mia P. Manansala. Flowers for Algernon by Daniel Keyes. The Wall by Marilyn Haushofer. The Unbearable Lightness of Being by Milan Kundera. On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. Oh no, my pile. Oh, I should put these next to each other. Never Let Me Go by Kazu Ishiguro. All the Lovers in the Night by Miko Kawakami. Pachinko by Min Jin Lee. Again, I apologize if I'm saying their names wrong. Ooh, the stock is getting too high. Difficult Women by Roxane Gay. My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. Victorian Psycho by Virginia Fito. Someone You Can Build a Nest In by John Wisewell. Ooh. The Long Walk by Stephen King. The movie's coming out this year. Never Whistle at Night. I've had this for a while, y'all. Actually, some of these I've had for a while. But Never Whistle at Night by Shane Hawk or edited by Shane Hawk and Theodore C. Van Altz Jr. Cursed Bunny by Bora Chung. Translated by Anton Her. Dracula. What is it, Bram Stoker? Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. And last but not least, because it's a must read for 2025. If you don't already know, you have to. It's taking place in 2025. Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. You must. I haven't read it yet, but I saw it said 2025, so it's a must. Woo! Alright, so if you haven't noticed, I mean, one, it's a lot, but I have read by this time. I mean, I'm going to finish my next book already. So between like 24 books, all the way from June, I am busier on the second half of the year. So this might be a little ambitious, but this is around 20 something books that I've shown you. I think this is like 25 books I've shown you. I could be wrong. It's not that hard. A lot of them are less than 100 pages. A lot of them are less than 200 pages. Some of them can be done in like a week. I mean, like, you can finish 5 of these in a week if you just like read for an hour every day. So it's not that crazy ambitious if I just continue my goal of like reading every day, at least just a couple pages, even like 10 pages, you know. It's doable. You probably also notice these are just standalones. I actually have a lot of trilogies, duologies in my personal collection. I'm very picky of what books I want to start when it comes to trilogies and duologies, or anything that's just too long of a series. I want to catch up to whatever I'm reading, and right now I'm starting Priority of the Orange Tree, and that's gonna be 3 books. The third one's coming out this year, but it's not out yet. I already have 2 of their books. So I want to read those 2 before I move on to another series. Yeah, I'm just more picky. There's a line. There's a personal line, you know, for those when it comes to series. But the ones I absolutely want to get to this year, absolutely must, is the pile I showed you. So I hope you enjoyed that little rapid fire. I don't think it was that fast, but I want to show you the art of the book too. So, yeah. Next question. What is your favorite video you've made this year so far? So in terms of favorite video, so I'm very new. I'm still very new. I looked at my history to answer this question, and I've only been making videos for almost 4 months now. I'm just a baby, yo. I'm just a baby. But so far, I mean, I think I've made 14 videos. I'm trying to venture out and do different types to see what's really fun for me. Again, this channel is purely just my journey of rating. You know, if you get recommendations along the way, or if we have similar tastes, that's just a plus. But really, it's just, I want to join the conversation. That's why I made this channel, and to just document my life and see if I can relate to anyone else who looks like me too. But, you know, just put more diversity out there for content creators, especially for like the book community. But my favorite video would probably be making TBR card videos. So choosing my TBR based on my TBR cards that I've created. Those are fun for me, mainly because, as you could tell, this is a lot of books. By no means I remember what any of them are about. At one point I did. And it's just fun doing the TBR cards because, one, I get to choose a random book from whatever the cards tell me to. And it's like getting a new book all over again because I forgot. Like, if I pulled this one out, I already forgot what this one was about, and I'm more excited to get into the book. I don't know. There's a level of excitement when I do those videos. Just pure excitement. And I'm just like, yee, the whole time, you know? Those are just fun. It's such a silly video. You don't even have to do this type of video all the time, you know? Definitely for June and July, I know what I want to read specifically, so it's not the same excitement versus playing with my TBR cards. And that's it, you know? Versus doing like a random pick, or I know what a lot of people do is the wheel. But I like my little cards, so same enjoyment. If you do the wheel or any other form, it's that same feeling of enjoyment, of anticipation. You don't know what you're gonna get, and then you have to go through a catalog and see what fits, and then just do it, you know? Or you can pass. It's up to you. It's your rules. But yeah, my favorite. Okay, next question. Ooh, this one's an exciting one because these are projects. Any upcoming videos you're excited to make? Yes. I really want to do this. There are some series I've shown you that are pretty big, and I already told you all in the beginning that I am an epic fantasy lover, sci-fi. These books tend to be huge. Not all the time. They don't have to be. The ones I've owned that I want to read are big. There's some that I want to pull out so bad and show you all, but I know that I'm not going to get to it this year, and this is a mid-year book freakout tag. So I only want to include the ones that I know I want to at least attempt to upload and edit this year. And one of them is going to be first time reading The Hunger Games. So I have the whole book set. I'm actually really hoping, I personally really like the I'm huge into plants if you can't tell also, but I like the floral edition of this print. So I'm really hoping by the time I start reading this book or the series that the last one will come out in this print. I might push it till the very end of the year to like pray, but it probably won't. If I were to complete it, I might just get it at the library, the last book, and read that one because I don't want to like own multiple copies. So yeah, that's one. The next one is going to be the Greenbone Saga. So I really want to film reading first time. These are all first times, obviously. But yeah, first time reading the Greenbone Saga. I've heard too many great things about this. I don't want to read any more or look at any more spoilers or like even potentially spoiler things. Like anyone who mentions it, I always like skip so I don't get certain ideas into my head. I already got the gist like in the beginning of the year. I've had this book for a while now. So yeah, that one I'm very excited to make. And then the next one will be starting the Mistborn series. Only the first three. I'm sorry. Only the first three specifically because I own the first three and I don't think I'm interested in reading the rest for the rest of the year. Who knows? I know a lot of people rave about it, but personally I'm just only attracted to the first three by Brandon Sanderson. So I wanted to make a video for these. These are big books, and The Hunger Games, I think it's out of 5 books. It will take me a while, but I wanted to work on a project on this channel where it will take time to make. It's not going to take a week. This will take months. You know, I'm going to have to sprinkle these books into my own TBRs for the month. And I already said this too earlier, I'm more busier this year towards the end of the year, so I don't want to force myself. But yeah, long form projects are really exciting. I've done it on my gaming channel for Disney Dreamlight Valley. I play other games, but mainly that's the only one I have time for. And it took me a year it's mainly a decorating game and a life sim. I don't know how to explain Disney Dreamlight Valley. If you see a trailer, you'll get the gist. There's farming, you see other characters, but a lot of it, I love it for its decorating. And it took me almost a year to decorate my main valley only. And then also a whole year to decorate another portion of the valley, like Eternity Isle. Point is, it took almost a year. And I posted that video, and after a couple months, it's my most highest viewed video, which is like 18,000 views. It was very rewarding, okay? All that effort, all the editing for my personal enjoyment, and I just want to show everybody, because that channel is very small. I'm very small on that platform as well. But yeah, for me, just being like, hey, this is my valley. I just wanted to show you if you get inspiration too, you know, if you want inspiration. Yeah, I did really well. I'm not saying long form videos or long projects are always going to be a hit, but they're just personally fun and rewarding. Like when you're done, it's fun. And these are ones that I want to do like fun reading vlogs for, the books I've mentioned to you all. And it'll just be entertaining for me to read, look back, because a lot of books that I've read, I wish I've kind of recorded. But I make notes in a lot of them, and that's the reason why I annotate in my books, because that is me in the moment, reacting to it without having to film anything. And it's just fun. It's more of a personal enjoyment. But expect that on the channel if you're interested in this channel or my reading journey. Oh, okay, fun one. Any channel goals by the end of the year? Yes, this channel is mainly for fun, mainly to record my reading journey and to share and to see if I relate to anyone or if people can relate to my videos. And my vibe and personality, honestly, because that's what you follow your favorite YouTube creators for, right? Is their personality and their vibe and how well they explain things, whatever reason you have. I kind of want to be like also one of those for other people because I follow other creators that I love to see. I love to see other fellow like Black creators, for example. I love to follow other Filipino creators and just anyone else who's like every spectrum. More diversity. And I wanted to add into that pool. That's actually my main driving force, really, if we're really going to get into it. I wanted to add to that pool and also reach out to others and being like, hey, we're here, you know? And I'm really happy about that too, because even my algorithm has changed on YouTube and my Instagram. So it's great. It's great. Once you fix your algorithm, you're getting all the recommendations from people you didn't normally see on your feeds. You know, I'm just like, and they're small creators too. And I'm just like, oh my God, yes, thank you, YouTube. Thank you. You know, so I want to add to the pool. There's a lot of us. And there's a lot of us, like, I'm not a heavy literature person, okay? English is probably, like, English class, to this day, even as, like, a college student, is my lowest. Not in grades, but just in general. Like, I've always was behind for my reading level in school, in high school. And then, I mean, I'm fine now in college. You know, I'm whatever. I get A's. It's not, getting the grade is not the problem. But I was never heavy into literature like that. So this is just really my journey on this platform. Just reading for fun and, you know, relating and opening my eyes to certain topics and books. It's fun. It's fun. I never thought myself to be a reader, okay? I only read manga. I can't stress that enough. I don't read novels. And to my surprise this year, when I needed it the most, because of what I went through this year, and it is a tough time now, even recording this, books were my perfect place to, I don't want to say get away. I guess get away, but I actually play games to escape, you know, like, my form of escape is actually playing video games, but because I like political books, I love books with heavy topics, so I'm not really escaping. I love dystopian worlds, and we're kind of, the state of the world is kind of, you know, anyways. And I still love reading those type of books, so based on my taste that I've shown you, that's my favorite. They're not really an escape. It's weird to say that, I think. But in a way, it is an escape because I'm living through another character's eyes and I'm in a whole different, like, fiction. This is mostly fiction. So, fiction world. Yeah. I just mainly want to, like, connect to other people and talk to other people about books. If you don't mind. Yeah, that's it. Besides that, I just hope to keep it up by the end of the year. I'm surprised, even with just like 14 videos since February or the last couple of months, I'm surprised I'm keeping it up. I think because it's summer right now, and once school starts, it actually might be less and less of my reading because I'll be reading textbooks. So I hope it doesn't go all down the drain when fall hits. That is also my wedding year. I mean, my wedding time too, so I'm going to be busy. Until October, I'm going to be very, very busy. But there's nothing wrong with dreaming or having higher goals in your own self, you know? I shouldn't be too, like, humble about, like, wanting to grow. I do want to grow because it shows that, like, I'm reaching to other people. And that's the whole overall goal. Probably if we're talking about numbers, I put it in my notes, maybe to get up to 500 subscribers, that's the first tier in order to unlock for your channel. And of course, like 3,000 watch hours, but I'm not even worrying about that, honestly. Because that means you just need to keep it up. But yeah, I hope I'll still have fun by the end of the year doing this channel. We'll know. I want to keep it that way to be fun. And so far, I am, like, not burnt out with it at all. It sucks to edit. Man, editing takes so much time. Every time I'm editing, I'm like, I could be reading a book right now. I could be playing my game right now, you know? Besides that, no, I'm having fun. Sorry, that was, like, a very long answer for most of them. I just keep going on a tangent. But, yeah, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed my yapping sessions, if you enjoyed my book taste of my books I've showed you that are my favorite, or if you're excited for the books I've shown you during the rapid fire section, let me know in the comments below. I want to do this for a video because I've seen other YouTubers do it, and if you've made it this far, let me do this, okay? It's embarrassing to do this, but if you made it this far, please post a plant emoji with a book emoji. I'll put it up. But yeah, if you made it this far, please post it in the comments. I think it'd be fun to let me know. You don't have to. I'm a huge lurker for things, so it's fine. Just watching the video is fine. This is gonna be a long one. I can see the time frame right now. Yeah. Like and subscribe. Follow more for my reading updates. I'm about to finish Monstrulo, so thank you again for everyone who posted the... God, I already forgot the title. What are you called? Mid-year book freakout tag of 2025. Thank you to Gavin Reads It All for being the first one I've ever watched this from, actually. And then, of course, I'll put the credits down below and anyone who also is related to the video. Alright, bye. I'll see you later, yeah? Good boy.